Chief Rabbi, Diane Binstock, Stephen Pack, our hosts Susan and Leo, the Ziff family and all the sponsors of this remarkable project, and Rabbi Andrew and the incredible team that have taken it from vision to fruition. You know, in the history of the Jewish people have been entrusted with a number of missions that are on the one hand impossible and the other hand essential. And I think it is hard to think of a mission that is more impossible and more essential than giving meaning and significance to the lives of all those who perished in the Shoah. It's impossible. The moment one begins to try to put into words a single life, 1 million lives, 6 million lives, language fails. Kal vachomer, how much more so with 1 second for a life. And yet it is essential. And perhaps today more than at any other time since. As we heard from Sophia Breslauer, today not just us, but the survivors are hearing sounds, shouts, statements, seeing things that one would have hoped would not have been heard again in their lifetimes. It's essential today because, as the Chief Rabbi said, we are at that period when the events of the Shoah are moving from living memory to history. In a decade's time, 80 for 80, how many voices will there be? So it's impossible, but it's essential. How do we tackle this challenge? We tackle it in 3 ways. We tackle it first and foremost by looking backwards, by using this crucial twilight period to hear as many voices, to hear as many stories as we can. Because as Elie Wiesel says, everybody who listens to a witness becomes a witness. We do it by recognizing the righteous amongst the nations, as I had the honor to do this past week, awarding on behalf of Yad Vashem recognition to 3 remarkable people who risked their lives in order to save Jews during the Shoah. So we do it by looking back. We do it by looking around today, and wherever we see hatred, Holocaust denial, anti-Semitism and discrimination, fighting it with all the conviction and the passion that we can muster. But the deepest response is the response that is reflected by this project, which is to take what we learn from looking back, to take what we learn from looking around, and to use that as the foundation for looking forward. The former Chief Rabbi, Emanuel Jakubowicz, once pointed out that whenever the verb lizkor, to remember, is used in the Bible in relation to God, it is never simply to remember. It is always to remember as a basis for protecting future generations, for thinking about the future. And I think that that is the principle that lies at the heart of this remarkable project. So what I would like to do is, along with all of those amongst you who are going to join me on this journey of 70 days and hopefully far beyond, maybe just read 1 sentence from the very first of the chapters in this book to mark the beginning of the journey on which we are going. And what could be more appropriate than the last sentence of the very first essay in the book by Lord Rabbi Sachs, who says, "What saved the Jewish people throughout the darkest moments of their history was an ability, despite their deep and abiding faith, never to let go of rational thought, and this is what I think is so appropriate, despite their loyalty to the past, to keep planning for the future. That is how to ensure the triumph of faith over circumstance. 70 for 70 is part of the way in which we will ensure the triumph of faith over circumstance." Thank you.